I've got kind of a half-baked take over here. It's not fully baked yet. I I'll let you know how it comes out the oven after I get to watch some of spring practice and watch G Day, and even in the fall, it may change. But my half-baked take right now: Georgia's defense will be better in 23 than they were in 2022, and I have failed to bring up. I brought up the wrong statistics, so bear with me. And while I'm looking up the Georgia Bulldog stats from last year that I actually wanted, make sure you're going to the red zone. Make sure you're checking out Double Dogs. I'm actually going to the red zone, and I have to grab an extra copy of Double Dogs. So I'm literally doing that here after I do this video. But the Georgia Bulldogs, historic defense at 21. Everyone thought there was going to be this huge dip in 2022. And like there was a dip, but it wasn't gigantic. I think Georgia allowed around 10 points per game. Man, it's not bringing up the right stuff. Whatever. The numbers I wanted was the total defense. Statistically, Georgia's defense did dip in 2022, but they were still an elite defense. And they had a lot of superstars. They're going to have a couple of those superstars drafted. Now, I think they're going to be better because they're losing less. Now, Jalen Carter is probably the most talented defensive player on both the 21 and the 22 defense. If you look at both of them together, was he the most important player? Probably not, but he was the most talented. Now, I think they're going to be better because they're returning a lot more. I think that they're gaining some, like people like Samuel Mpemba and Raylan Wilson. Listen, I've heard these linebackers are doing really well so far, these freshman linebackers. So don't be surprised if they're on the field early and often. I think Georgia's got the best linebacker room in college football. I don't even think it's close between Smile London and Jamon Dumas-Johnson, Jalen Walker, the edge rushers. I really like Marvin Jones Jr. I mentioned Mpemba is good. Raylan Wilson, I don't know exactly where they're going to put him, but a linebacker as well. Barry Alexander's going to step in nicely. Nazir Stackhouse, Micah Williams, I expect to jump, right? Like, what was Micah? I think Micah Williams' freshman season was probably better than Trayvon Walker's, right? Is that a hot take? And people said that he's Trayvon Walker 2.0. I expect to jump for Micah Williams. Secondary, I'm a little tiny bit worried. Now, you gain back Dan Jackson, tons of experience, has played in big moments, has made big moments. You gain back, you're getting Smoke Bowie, who I don't know exactly where they're going to put him. Malachi Starks, I expect to jump. Him and Michael Williams were really impressive freshmen. I expect to jump from Malachi Starks. I expect Kamari Lassiter to be one of the best corners in college football. I think he's one of the most underrated players in college football. He got, I think, a lot of unnecessary hate. Now, I was part of the reason why he got unnecessary hate at the beginning of the year, but I matured and realized, okay, well, Kamari Lassiter, he's gotten beat a couple times, but this guy's really good. Javon Bullard, I don't remember if I said Javon Bullard or not. I mean, just there is no other way to put it. In the middle of the national championship game when he was causing, like, I don't know, his 50th turnover, my friend texted me, Javon Bullard is a menace. Like, that was the whole text. Javon Bullard is a menace. There's no other way to put it. Javon Bullard is a menace. He made so many big plays, not just in the playoffs, but like in big games. Tennessee, he had 2 sacks in the beginning of the fourth quarter, end of the third quarter, when it started pouring down rain and Georgia's defense like was cementing their victory with a stop. Javon Bullard was there. He got around the edge a lot. Zion Logue is coming back. That's experience on the line. And I like David Daniel. I think he's going to step up Dalen Everett. I worry about the other cornerback spot. It could be Smoke Bowie. Christopher Smith is a leader that you're losing that just made a lot of big plays and played a lot of important football for the Georgia Bulldogs, worked his way to being an All-American player. But I think that this defense continues to get faster with their recruiting. So what are you really missing from this year? Nolan Smith, who you saw them not have for the second half of the year. So Keely Ringo, right? Georgia legends. Another way to put it. Jalen Carter, Keely Ringo, Christopher Smith are the guys that you're missing that you had in the playoffs. And then Nolan Smith, obviously the leadership that Nolan brings is almost impossible to replace in my opinion. But all those guys have people that are going to step in, and Barry Alexander is really good. I don't think he's good as Jalen Carter. Um, as far as the safety goes, I actually think that's my biggest concern. I think Christopher Smith, replacing him, is my biggest concern just because of the leadership, the experience. But at the same time, Kirby, Will Muschamp, those guys know what they're doing with the safeties. And you got Malachi Starks back there. I expect a jump from Malachi Starks. Listen to the top 3 tacklers last year, because it's going to be the same 3 guys. Smile London, Dumas Johnson, Malachi Starks. If it's not those 3 guys in whatever order you want to put it, I'd be surprised. Smile London, like Jamal Dumas Johnson was a Butkus finalist. I think he was a second-team All-American. Expect All-Americans from both Smile. I'm predicting All-American seasons from Smile Mondon. I really like Smile Mondon. I think you get a repeat from Jamal Dumas Johnson. I think Malachi Starks takes another step. Malachi Starks is one of the most athletic football players I've ever watched. That Oregon interception, the Missouri chase down. There were just some plays where I'm like, wow, I can't believe he got to the ball. He should have had 2 more fancy-looking interceptions that he dropped. With Ringo was a big part of the culture. Ringo made some huge plays. Tennessee, obviously the Alabama National Championship, right? The play, that'll be the most famous play in Georgia history, right? Hobnail boot, Keely Ringo's pick 6. I mean, what else is up there, right? The missed field goal for against Ohio State, or the missed field goal from the Ohio State kicker. Sony Michel taking it to the house. I mean, these some of the most memorable plays in Georgia Bulldogs history. Ringo is one of them. He was in the moment. He is one of the most athletically gifted corners I've ever seen. It's just point blank. Tremel Wathauer, Robert Beal. So you lose some other guys, right? Chaz Chambliss played a lot. I like Jalen Walker a lot as like a hybrid linebacker. I think this defense just continues to get faster. I think they're get better. Statistically, if I can find the damn numbers that I wanted, I mean, like, it shouldn't be that hard. I just want to see, like, it is what it is. But Glenn Schumann, I expect this to be his last year, right? I expect this to be his last year as a defensive coordinator for Georgia. And I assume Muschamp would just be a solo DC after that, barring any other changes. But Schumann already was interviewing for NFL defensive coordinator spots, right? After 1 year as the co-defensive coordinator for the Georgia Bulldogs. That would have been a monumental jump that no one really talks about how monumental of a jump that would be. I expect this to be his last year, because if that already happens, he's either going to get a head coaching gig out of college or he's going to be a defensive coordinator in the NFL. I expect him to be gone in 24. But this defensive staff is nuts. I think that another reason why these linebackers are so good is because of him. And I've seen it up close how he coaches them. I really think this is the best linebacker room. My really hot take is that this linebacker room will be better than the 21 group that had Nakobe Dean, Quay Walker, and Channing Tindall. So my hot take is that these guys are better, and Smile Munn and Dumas Johnson got to sit behind those guys. I think I think they might be better. I really believe Smile Mun's ceiling is higher out of all those guys. The ceiling. Jawan Dumas Johnson, super cerebral football player, not as athletically gifted as Smile, and then Jalen Walker. The combo being able to go on the inside and the outside, it's definitely special. I think that room is just going to go crazy. I expect jumps from these 4 freshmen. I expect big jumps from. I expect a Marvin Jones Jr. jump. I expect a Michael Williams jump. I expect Malachi Starks jump, and I expect a Bear Alexander jump. My biggest worry is, do you have a guy that's going to be ready for the big moments the way that Christopher Smith was? My inclination is yes, because all these guys have been a part of the program, right? And they know what the deal is, and there's a 5-star safety coming in who I can't pronounce his name that they really like. Corner-wise, I think Dalen Everett's really talented. Smoke Bowie's really talented. I think that's a battle for that spot. Javon Bullard, the star position. It's just, I think these guys are going to be better. I do. I understand you're losing some incredible talent, but they were losing a more incredible talent, like as far as abundance, the year prior. The 2023 defense, an improved version of the 22 defense, is my prediction, my half-baked take. And I'll let you know if that changes. Double Dogs, Red Zone, DoorDash, all that stuff is down below. Thanks for watching.